If you've ever gone on a hunting trip and realized you packed the wrong ammo, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hey y'all, my name is Half-Cocked Hilbilly, and today I'm so excited to talk to y'all about my Savage Model 24 V-A. But before we get to that, I gotta go over a couple of real important things. First things first, I am going to be handling firearms. Anytime I'm not at the firing range, all my guns have been checked to make sure that they're unloaded. If you ever do handle a gun, make sure you follow all 4 rules of firearm safety. Now guys, for the fun stuff, I just recently hit 1,000 subscribers. And
you did it. You crazy son of a...
To celebrate with y'all, I wanted to give back. This time around, I'm going to be giving away a 511 Rush 12 backpack in Kangaroo. If you want to win this awesome backpack, all you got to do is subscribe to me or follow me on Instagram, and then on any video I've released, make sure you like and leave a comment. And then guys, on Sunday, November 2nd, I'm going to be announcing my winner. Make sure y'all tune in to watch that video. If you're the lucky winner, I don't want you to miss out on this. Now guys, today I'm going to be talking about a gun that'll keep you fed on literally every continent. The Savage Model 24 V-A. My particular model is chambered in 222 and 20 gauge. Like with all shotguns, it's 100% a jack of all trades, especially when you throw this 222 barrel on top of it. If y'all aren't familiar, the 222 Remington is the predecessor to the 223 Remington. This round is just a hair shorter and a little bit slower than the modern 223. So what that means is, if you're at a range for the shotgun, you can always reach out with your 222 barrel past 100 yards. So basically, this gun is awesome for pest control, small game, and even large game up to the size of a black bear with the right load. So with that in mind, let's head to the range. I want to try the 222 barrel out first, and then we'll try the 20 gauge shotgun barrel. I'm trying to get this combo gun zeroed. 1, 2, and 3 are from the blue box, whatever the blue box is. And these 3 are from the Hornady Superformance. Both are 50 grain VMAX bullets. If I can get back out here before I make this video, I do want to test out the 35 grain projectiles to see if it groups a little bit better. This is kind of the group you're looking at. One thing I do want to add is that barrel's pretty thin. This is a survival and hunting rifle. This is not a high volume of fire rifle. You're not going to put 25 rounds through it without getting a little bit of impact shift. Let's head back to the bench. I'll finish getting this thing zeroed in, and then we'll put some other types of shot down the barrel. All right, y'all, so I let my gun cool down a little bit. Here's my group. Once again, this is at 50 yards. It's no expert group, but that should do nicely out farther than 100 yards. So let's go test that out real quick. Alright y'all, so in my video, you'll notice me start to struggle with the 222 barrel. I checked literally everything with the gun to make sure it's in good condition. It is pretty heavily used here. While it was used, it was not abused. The action is super tight on it, the bore's in good condition, and the rifling looks sharp. I hesitate to call some of these issues because the gun excels at what it's intended for. So this barrel's real thin. You're not going to get a ton of shots out of it before it starts to heat up. And with the 222 being a really high pressure round, it can start to spread your groups out a little bit if you just start throwing lead down range. And it got to the point with a 100-yard target where I kind of gave up with accuracy just because I couldn't pattern it. Despite the issues I was having with accuracy, I chalked it up to a couple things. First is I only got 1 bullet type. Because this gun's in really good condition and I'm a fairly good shot myself, there's a couple things that I believe attributed to accuracy issues. Like I said before, the heat is an issue. Second is I don't think I have the right ammo for this gun. Both boxes of ammo that I had were both shooting 50 grain Hornady VMAX rounds. So I bought 2 boxes of ammo for this rifle to test out. The little voice in my head was saying I should get the same company with 2 different grain loads, but I didn't listen to myself. I ended up getting 2 types of ammo with the same projectile, which is a Hornady 50 grain VMAX. I was hoping I'd have the opportunity to go back to the range and test a couple different grain weights of ammo, but unfortunately my local shop didn't have them. So once I do get to go back to the range, I'm going to post a little follow-up video here with a couple different grain weights, just so we can tie up some loose ends. With that being said, the first time I went to go shoot this gun, I made sure the bore was completely clean. And one of the first groups at 100 yards came out pretty good. This group right here was shot with the Fiocchi 50 grain VMAX loads at 100 yards. And it's a 2-inch group. While it's not amazing, I am using a older 3-power optic, and I was shooting off a roll of electric tape, so my shooting setup could have been better, and I also could have done a little bit better of a job too. I'm pretty satisfied with that group for this rifle, and I do believe I can do better if I were to experiment a little bit with different projectiles. After a little bit of research, some conversation with ChatGPT, and my own experience, it also seems like fouling can cause accuracy issues with this gun too. So the TLDR for the 222 barrel is, if you use it for its intended purpose, it's going to work great. Just make sure you clean it, and if you do take this out in the field for any extended period of time, I would just take a bore snake with you to make sure if you do have to shoot it a handful of times, you keep it clean. Now that we're done talking about the 222, I want to go over something a little less fussy, the 20 gauge barrel. So for when I use this, I think it's going to mostly be like a turkey hunting gun. This 3-power optic is a classic Weaver 3X. I can't seem to part ways with it. My father-in-law used this to great effect, so I just kind of want to keep it the way he set it up. So this is definitely a good turkey gun, or anything that's not really running or flying. Another thing too is these barrels aren't regulated, which means the point of impact for slugs is going to be different from the 222 projectile. So what that means is I'm just going to be shooting both birdshot and slugs. So I'm going to put some patterns out. Like I said, I'm shooting at 50 yards. I can definitely shoot past out to 222, but that's the range I'm shooting for here. Let's see what I get. All right, the first load I'm using is Fiocchi Golden Turkey. It's an 1.25 ounce shot, going 1,200 feet per second. It's a 3-inch 20 gauge shell. Man, that's got some stank behind it. All right, let's see the target here. Pretty much peppered this entire target at 50 yards. The closest shot that I have to the bullseye is here. So if it was a turkey that I was aiming at 50 yards, it may have lived. It also might not have, but we're going to test out patterns a little closer, and we're just trying to test the max limit here. All right, so next we got the 2 3/4 inch number 3 buckshot. I actually meant to grab 3-inch buckshot, not number 3 buckshot, but unga bunga brain sometimes. So it's what we got. If you're actually using this to eat, you might not always have a choice of what kind of projectiles you're throwing out of your gun. So let's see how it patterns. All right, let's see how that did. All right, everyone, so it looks like our buckshot hit here, 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 here. Okay. Oh, and here. So, as I said before, we were aiming right here. It looks like it's kind of throwing shot patterns to the left a little bit, so it's something to keep in mind, as I do want to use this to harvest game, and I want to try to use it in future videos here. All right, guys, now let's do what we came to do, have some fun. So I got some 2.5-inch game loads. It's 7/8 ounce of number 8 shot. Let's see how our combo gun will harvest our expired game. First, we have our turkey load, and we're going to take out some chocolate sauce. Half our turkey load. Now this bug ball survived. It did not. Last but not least, we got some buckshot versus chocolate icing. Cool. All right, y'all, now that we're back to the studio, I just want to wrap up with some pros and cons and then some final thoughts. First, let's talk about the cons, because I do believe this gun deserves to end on a good note. First con is that 222 Remington is not a super common round anymore, which means that you might be limited in the variety of ammunition you can find at the store, unless you want to roll your own cartridges. The second is, not to beat a dead horse, but if the barrel gets too hot or if it gets too dirty, your performance is going to suffer. Third con is this is a little heavy because you do have a second barrel and a scope, but that just kind of comes with the territory. The fourth con that I have is this isn't exactly the quickest to shoot. The break action is really smooth and positive, but to load and unload is not exactly the quickest procedure. And the last thing, which I do believe is the biggest con about this, is the barrels are not regulated. Now, what I mean by barrel regulation is the top and bottom barrel don't point in the same direction. This specific model of the Savage 24's barrels are held on by this barrel band here. And if it's not precisely put together, the barrels are not going to shoot in the same spot. Now, if I really wanted to, I could always take a screwdriver and try to regulate the barrels myself, but it looks like someone's tried to do that a couple times, and I really don't want to ruin the value of this combo gun. And as you saw in my video, my shotgun did pattern to the left. If you're shooting birdshot, it's not a big deal. Just put your crosshairs to the right of the target and you'll be good to go. Where it does become an issue is if you want to shoot slugs. Because this gun is a smooth bore, its primary intent was not to shoot slugs. If you really need that extra range, that's what you have the 222 for. I'm going to pass my nitpicks. Let's talk about why this gun is awesome. First is, I've shown this a million times, but it is just so cool. I love this over-under design, and I love the shotgun type stock. Not only is it comfortable to shoulder, but it also is quick to shoulder. It really does feel like a wing shooting gun. Another thing I love about this gun is it's super simple to operate. So not only for you, but if you want to teach someone new how to shoot, this is a great contender. The only controls you have is your brake action right here, your hammer, your barrel selector right here, and your trigger. And for a new shooter, of course, not only is it easy to use, but it doesn't look intimidating. Another positive is that not only is this a survival gun, but you can also break it down for relatively easy transport. Now, because I can't show you how to break down firearms on YouTube, we're going to cut to that in 3, 2, 1. So it breaks down into 3 main pieces. You got your receiver and stock, your barrels, and your handgun. So if you have a backpack or carrying case, it will fit in it pretty easily. And of course, if it didn't have the scope sticking out, it'd be even easier to transport as well, and it would be a little less fragile. Now, the last 3 real quick is, I probably said it at least one time in this video, the 222 20 gauge combination is incredibly versatile. 20 gauge cartridge can ethically harvest up to deer or black bear sized game. If I was really hungry and I had to eat, I'm sure I could make that work on something a little bit bigger. But for the sake of this video and rule of law and respecting all legalities, you can ethically harvest a relatively large animal. And then of course, if you're going for something a tad bit smaller like a turkey, fox, or a coyote, you have that 222 round and a 3x scope to help you accomplish that. And if you want to step down to something even smaller, 20 gauge shotgun will do that too. You can harvest small game or pests with a variety of loads. Besides the ethical use of slugs, you can also ethically use buckshot in the right circumstances to harvest medium-sized game. If you wanted to go for a larger bird like turkey, you also have this 3-inch load, which is 1.25 ounces of 6-shot, which rivals a lot of 12 gauge shells. And then of course, if you want to go for something a little smaller like rabbit, squirrel, or doves, you got this 2.5-inch birdshot load. Now, as far as the superficial things go, like I said, this gun is just good looking. A lot of your other multi-caliber survival rifles or shotguns just look kind of weird. Not the Savage 24V. It looks great. It looks like a gun. There's no weird trigger on it. There's no weird mechanism. It's just a break action with 2 barrels. And of course, like all guns, this thing is just a hoot to shoot. Shotguns are really fun blowing stuff up with. And if I wanted a softer shooting rifle caliber, I got the 222 on top. Alright guys, before I let you go, I just got a couple final thoughts here. I'm so excited to use this gun in the field, and one of my goals is to start getting you guys some outdoor content, whether it's backpacking or hunting. I want to show you what it's actually like to use this gear in the field. With me taking it in the field, I'm really fighting the temptation to put some modern optics on this. If any of y'all have a gun like this and you want to put a premium optic on it, there's an optic company called Shepherd Optics, and they make a scope called the DRS, or dual reticle system, which literally has a scope with 2 different reticles. So if your barrels aren't aligned exactly, you can just zero your gun in for both of those barrels. Besides that high-end dual reticle system, there's also a ton of LVPO options out there that have a ballistic drop reticle, which if you just practice a little bit with your gun, should take out any guesswork with the 222 and 20 gauge. And of course, the whole mindset behind this video is this gun will help you eat on any continent. And I do think that the 222/20 has a really good balance between weight, recoil, and lethality. I would also love to test a gun that's a little bit bigger, something like a 308 over a 12 gauge, or even a 22 mag over 12 gauge. In conclusion, guys, if you're in the market for a combo gun or a survival rifle and you have the opportunity to buy one of these Savage Model 24s, go for it. It's really hard to find these now because no one wants to sell them. And if you do want something that can perform like this, it's going to be a goofy looking survival rifle, and it's probably going to be in smaller calibers like 22 long rifle and 410. Which, nothing against those calibers, but this is more capable. Alright y'all, once again, my name is Half-Cocked Hilbilly. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next Sunday. Bye. Chocolate rain. Alright. The quickest.